showing off with the hill.
Really?
Oh, I see it. Just go in, just go in.
I scanned it yesterday.
Okay, they haven't called you in yet?
But
Okay.
if you scan it after school, does it count?
Do we have a Kristen,
Like I scanned it right,
Ray, Manley?
watch from my last class.
You're right here, okay. All right, you'll have to go see the attendance, lady, Mrs. Richardson, in the attendance office. All right, thank you. Yeah, she should be up in the office. Okay.
Where did I get that name from? No, it's not.
Yes, it is, dude.
Ricky Burwig?
Yes, it is. Both of y'all some football?
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, no, it's in my party.
Who else?
Oh,
Sophomores.
Who's a what?
Sophomores.
Softball.
Sophomores know they're supposed to be in the pack at one.
They
right?
said at 1, yeah.
Okay. I just figured they'd tell you to go strictly between periods straight to the pack.
I thought you were a senior.
You dumb, bro.
That's right.
Just do that. They didn't-
Just gonna be like, that's what you want.
I know the Wi-Fi professor.
Yeah, alright.
For the deployment?
Yeah, it's just tired.
It's just tired deployment.
I started deployment.
Yeah, I still can't spell.
All you gotta do is get a
Right.
all you gotta do is get a VPN.
Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot the VPN thing. I used to do that.
Did the bell ring yet?
What are you doing?
Yes.
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 Get this book, find it online.
Why?
As soon as possible. Oh, you know.
Plus tax.
Harvard.
Oh, the chair one's in here too?
Will you grab the door back there, please, somebody? Yeah, whoever's closer to it. I'm just gonna take attendance real quick. Do we have a Lauren? Lauren? No Lauren? Brassel?
Check the grade. Some of them might already be in the pack if they're 10th grader.
Can you check the grade on the attendance? It doesn't let me. Anyway, if they're not here, it's fine.
Oh, I can't see this class. Only you can see this class.
Yeah.
Y'all don't let me see what you're doing, so it's no fair.
Let me check. I guess I could, should I just wait for attendance until they all come back? Or is it gonna be too late? What would you do? WWRD, right?
WWRD, yes. I would wait. Most they're gonna do is yell at you.
Well, they didn't yell at me
Yelling
yesterday.
doesn't hurt.
They didn't yell at me yesterday, and I forgot yesterday. I didn't do
If
it.
they yell at you too much, I'll step in for you. I'll threaten to retire.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. Okay, for the most part, I think we're mostly here. Let me see, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wow, there is a lot missing.
So how's this is the 4th day going?
Amazing.
Is it fun?
It's tiring.
Tiring?
What are y'all tired of, just like sitting and having to listen to the lectures so far?
Well, yeah, I just
They get worse.
Do you know the difference between, did I tell you all this history? No, I didn't. You know the difference between a regular joke and a dad joke? A dad joke is a parrot.
Well,
Some of my older brother does, so I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, my dad jokes aren't that good, but some of them are pretty funny. Well, did y'all have at least a good lunch? Yeah,
No, it's
decent?
on the inside.
My lunch cheese was frozen completely, so I didn't get
He
to
sat
sit
at a
on it.
different table.
Damn, you're right.
Do all of you have sea lunch or not? Not really.
I've
I had lunch.
So that's a mixture.
Two.
Well, I'll try not to bore you guys too much, but I can't make any promises, okay? I'll do my best. But we're just gonna go over a couple things, show you some tripods, while we got a tripod. I won't tell you that one. I'll keep that one for a little bit. And then just, if y'all are wondering, we've got a camera here, we're kind of recording. Sorry, you're gonna be in the shot. I'm mic'd, we've got a couple of kids that are at home, so I'm gonna have to post this up, okay? So it's basically me and you, you'll be on the shot, Mr. Rush. But, we don't have the other one. Mr. Rush, is this the one, is that the tripod that you used to use as an
Teachers,
example?
please excuse this interruption. If you have not released your sophomores to go to the pack, please do so right now. Thank you.
Hi, sophomores.
Hi. Is that the one, is that the tripod that
Oh,
you
is that
use
one?
for an example?
Oh, KK.
No, I just took the camera off.
Okay,
I just took the camera off.
all right, I didn't know that. I had to run out right before you did that.
So, have me other ear so I can hear you. There you go.
Okay, this one, let's go talk about those two. I have the battery. Let me go get battery.
So, the cool thing is all these cameras you're seeing out, you get to play with. Today, you get to actually touch them and experiment. And we have a bunch of lenses for you to try and all kinds of things. So, this is a camera extravaganza, okay? So, sorry, killing dead air.
Aren't you gonna tell them about your old one?
You want me to tell them about
Yeah, do that one first.
the old one?
Yes, the old one. The old one.
All
For
right.
obvious reasons. Because it's old.
So let me introduce you to someone who is dear and special to my heart. My wife refers to this as my first girlfriend. Okay? This is the camera system that I started using when I first went into the business of television. I did 4 years of radio before television. And that would have made me, how old then? 20 or 21, I forget. No, 20. So, went into the business. This was a camera that was used from like 1977 through 1985. I know that seems so long ago, doesn't it? Trust me, it's not been that long ago. All right? So, this camera is what is a JVC, we call it, was a 1900 model. This was like state of the art at the time. All of us guys who run around with these cameras, we had a nickname for it. I'll tell you the nickname, but y'all, I promise you, no one's gonna get it. I'm gonna try it anyway. We referred to this camera as the Orange Julius. Nobody got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Do they have them open anymore?
I don't know, back in the day,
They have them at DQ, I think.
do they?
Yeah.
It's a drink, is what it is, and it was served in malls all over the country, and it was made of orange juice, and and God only knows why they decided the color scheme of this camera was going to be orange. It is about the ugliest orange you've ever seen. So the joke was it was an Orange Julius. As you can see, all my other old cameras, they always did gray. I have a red one there, but they always did gray or black color schemes. Why they chose orange for this, who knows? JBC must have been on something, I don't know. But ugly orange, so we called it the Orange Julius. So this is the camera I started with, okay? So who would like to hold it? Get up here. Both of y'all get up here, I'll let you try. All right, so here's the deal. Cameras have gotten tremendously lighter over the last 40 years that I've been doing this. So I'm going to hold it like this, and I'm going to take the handle. Got it? I'm going to let go.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God. I told you I was going to let go.
That's a lot heavier than I thought.
It is much more heavier than what it looks. You ready?
Yeah.
You want to try it? Put your hand in. I'm going to let go. There you go. See, he was prepared. He saw your reaction. Okay? So this was the camera that I used when I started back in 1980, and I started as a videographer for news. Okay? So the key here, though, is this is just a camera. It was known as an electronic news gathering camera, or ENG. It was a standalone camera. So it could, you grabbed it, you used it. It wasn't in the mix with any other cameras. So it was just an ENG style camera. Now here's the deal. This camera, like this one, pretty much the exact same type of setup with the way it works and it functions. In fact, cameras have not changed their functionality since the day they were created. They always work exactly the same. No matter if I had one of those little mercury plate cameras from the 1860s to this camera to that camera. The function of the camera works exactly the same. It brings in light, it translates that light to a medium, and then you're able to use it. Okay? In the form of picture, motion picture, or video, or today, digital imagery. Still works exactly the same. But this is just a camera. If I took this camera out, I could actually, if the battery was charged, I could still turn it on. Camera would function. You could see in the viewfinder, you could see the image and everything, but it's so far out of date that no matter what I recorded, we couldn't use it. Because the format that we record to doesn't exist anymore. It was called tape. Okay? Tape is dead. Been dead for years. And to be able to find the tape that works with this, I have some at home, but that's only because of nostalgia for me. Okay? I can't do anything with it. But this is just the camera. To actually record something, I also had to carry this. This is actually the recorder for the video. So I had to have these two items to go out and do anything. And it took a big tape. The tape format was known as U-matic 3/4 inch. And it's set right here. I'm going to open this for you. Look how big that tape is. Okay? That's a big tape that you slide in there, push down, then you have a cable that goes from here to here to start your recording, and then of course all the microphones have to be ran through here, everything. In fact, when I would go out to shoot something with this system, I would literally have to have this on my shoulder right here, and this on my shoulder like this with a cable connecting it, and then a big belt of battery power around my waist. Altogether, the weight of this equipment is close to 50 to 60 pounds. When it's full of batteries and tapes and everything, it's 50 to 60 pounds. And this is the reason I have a bad back today. Okay? So this is the history of what we did. And it's pretty cool. I mean, here in a minute you're going to get to touch everything and experiment if you want to pick this up and feel it. But it was designed to set just like this. And I guarantee you that camera sitting right there with a battery ready to go weighs less than this. by about half, if not 2/3. So that's just how the technology has changed over the years. And for some of y'all, like I said, you think that's ancient, I think it was yesterday. So,
And something
that's
that
it, take it away.
something that blew my mind. I was like, so that whole box right
That whole
there
box there
is this
that.
for you guys.
This entire box is essentially that. Isn't that wild when you think about it? All right, Ms. Smith, it's all
Okay.
you.
All right. So first off, we're gonna talk about. Let's see. We have two different types of cameras. Okay. So first off, I'm going to show you this Sony. This is kind of like a little consumer bought camera, something that you can order on Amazon really easy. Functions are pretty much automatic. They're set to automatic. This is actually known as a prime lens, as opposed to,
Actually, that's a
is it?
variable lens.
It's a variable lens, so it can zoom?
It moves,
Oh,
yes, it moves through. Yeah.
sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, so if it does move, you can have the zoom option. That is also known as a variable lens. Okay, a prime lens is more like something that you can't zoom. Okay, no zoom options or anything like that. And we'll show you another type of lens that here in a little bit. But you know, raise your hand if you guys have ever seen one of these. Yeah, these are a little bit more common. Okay, something that the average Joe will kind of be like, okay, I think I can operate something like this. Not necessarily at a professional level, like something like this. Okay, so this is known as a consumer. So it's known as a point and shoot. It's very compact. Battery is pretty, I mean, it's exposed, it's out there. You guys can see, just plug in the battery, give it power, it's ready to go. Okay, so not very many functions here. You know, you can see like your power button. There's a playback right there. But it's pretty simple, easy to use. I'm sure my 4th grader can use it. You know, she'll figure it out. So like I said, this is known as a point and shoot, okay? It's basically self-explanatory. So you get something, you pick it up, okay, ready to roll. Let's go, we're gonna shoot something. So this right here, we have some of these sort of like this at the 9th grade center. What we're kind of using, they're kind of cheaply made. They're breaking right now, but they have a space for your SD card, okay? Power button. Oh, that's not working.
That's not working.
It's probably not working. It's dead, right? It's just,
That battery's dead, sorry.
okay.
Plus, that's the broken one. I just have it
Oh,
show.
okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, let's keep going on. So above here, you'll see like a little metal piece. What do you call this metal piece?
That's a shoe.
A shoe? Okay. This is actually primarily meant for audio, okay? The functions here are basically internal. There's an internal microphone that is built into this system. How do you think the quality of that sound is going to be?
Bad.
It's going to be kind of, you know, it's not going to be great. So what we do, we put the receiver in the shoe, and I guess I could demonstrate. So you all remember when we went to the equipment room, we showed you the wireless system that we have for our microphones. So this is what they look like, okay? Just like kind of what I'm wearing right now. I have a lavalier mic hooked up to my shirt. And I ran the wire in through my shirt, and then it's right here. Okay, I just have it clipped onto my pocket. Let's see, this one doesn't have it. This one doesn't have it. None of them have it, except for that one. You see the one that's recording right now? On top, there's like these little bunny ears, little antennas. Okay, that's gonna be the receiver end. Okay, so we
It's
just,
also one of the larger camera. You just don't see it for the shotgun mic.
oh, okay, yeah. This, you'll see. So you just kind of, you know, let it slide in there, and then there's a little ring that you tighten so that it doesn't fall out. And that's what sends that audio signal into the camera, and that's what you're recording, okay? So basically it goes from something like this to a little bit more functions, a little bit more buttons on the side. This is, what is this? It's a Sony.
That's a NX30.
Okay, NX30. And we have these over there at the 9th grade center, so we're eventually going to replace those later on. You guys don't necessarily work with those here at the high school. At the high school, you guys are with the big boys, okay? You have the bigger equipment. So let's keep moving on. I guess I'll talk about, let me talk a little bit about the tripod first. So I'll set it up and then we'll talk about the NX100 cam. So first, once you get one of your tripods, okay, this is what a tripod is. What do y'all know about a tripod? What is it for?
Stabilizing the camera.
Stabilizing a camera, right. So initially, I mean, I see a lot of students, they just grab the tripod and they're not sure where exactly to start. They start on the floor, you know, and they're pulling up their legs. They're just struggling a lot with it all the way up until May. So how we like for you guys to handle it is just put it on your arm, let gravity do the work. Just loosen these, let the legs slide out, okay? Same for the other ones. Now this tripod is also known as a 2-stage tripod. Why do you think?
Can it go longer than that?
It can go longer than this. So they're my first bottom legs. Okay. So if I need, you know, would it be appropriate if I do an interview at this level? Not really. I mean, it's not at eye level. Why would I want it at eye level? Yeah, you want to get the face. You don't want to see up their nose, right? It's kind of just inappropriate, kind of looking up their nose. A lot of people don't want to see their double chin, just things like that. And then another thing, when we go more into talking about interviewing people, a lot of the times you want to give somebody that neutral look. So you know, it's eye level. But if you go from down below, looking up, that's actually given the appearance of somebody being superior, large, big, okay? So you don't want to do that. You're just going to give them some neutrality there. What if I was above right here and I'm looking down at them? How is that going to make them appear? Small, inferior, okay? You're not wanting to do that for when we do interviews. So it's really important that we adjust the legs to the proper height, okay? Right here, I'm not sure if we explained it last period, but we have a claw ball. This is what is known as a claw ball. And this is a fluid head. This is actually, we all open the door? Thank you. This is actually able to swivel to the left. If I tell you, I need you to pan to the left, you'll, you know, grab the handle, turn it to the left. Tilt up, you have all these functions and capabilities of the tripod, okay? So all this while, you'll have the camera here. Let me show you how we set it up. So here's the second step to the tripod. I just pick it up just like by the claw ball, as high as I need it. I'm kind of short, so it's not very tall, but I will have it basically right where I can see the monitor very well. Make sure these are tightened. And there you go. It's pretty stable. Okay. Now here we have it's called the NX100 cam. We're Sony people, so you'll see a lot of Sony cameras. Okay. These are basically known as the studio cameras that we have. Did y'all go back into the studio? You remember we have about 3 of them, right, on the pedestals. So we use those for big jobs. I mean, all throughout the district, we've got teachers coming in, standing on top of on the infinity wall. Do y'all remember what that was? The white wall. And then we're just, you know, shooting, we're recording, and you know, they're very useful and with very high quality. So a little bit about this camera. It's got its basic functions. You can pull out the monitor so you can see what you're doing. You also have the viewfinder. I believe we have the viewfinder off right now, but all you're watching right here is on your monitor. On/off button, turn it on. Oh, I didn't show you all the battery. Did I show you guys the last time how to put the battery in? No? Okay, let me do that real quick. Okay, so here you go. We've got our lithium battery. Do you all remember in the equipment room we have our charging dock? Okay, sometimes we'll have some there. If they're at 100%, we've got a little bucket next to the cameras where these are ready to roll. Okay, you grab your battery, your camera. So you plug it in, you'll want to see the arrow face down. Okay, and a lot of the times inside you'll see a picture that'll help you. if you're still confused every now and then, if you don't remember. You just place it inside, let it drop. Okay, do y'all hear that snap? It's really important to hear that, okay? Otherwise it's just not connecting right. Once you're done and you want to release the battery, there's a battery release here. Just press that button and then pull that battery up, and then you just pull it out, okay? All right. So now that I have my battery in, I'm going to turn on the camera. And there we are, okay? I don't know if you guys can see. So there you all are. Can you guys see? Are you all? There you go. See how it automatically adjusts? Okay, so if you're ever doing a project, and let's say you have your camera and you're doing something in front of the camera and you want to see the picture, you can flip it over just like that and you can see yourself. Okay? All right, do y'all remember what this was called?
No.
Kind of, yeah.
It was a
Shotgun mic, yes. So a lot of the times you'll see one of our cameras, we always want to include our shotgun mic for why? Do y'all remember what it captures? Audio. What kind of audio? What did we call it? It was like natural. Did we not cover that? I didn't say that. Okay. So what it gets, it's called natural sound. That's a lot of the times what we call is background music or background noises. If right now, if I'm interviewing Mr. Rush in front of the classroom, I want to hear you guys speaking. I want to hear you guys interacting with each other, working on your projects. It's good to hear the natural sound. Okay. That's what this is for. So you're going to want to capture all that background noise. Okay. It's very useful when you're creating your videos. Anytime we have our natural sound on, we are always going to have it on input 1. Okay, so you always remember nat sound is on input 1, right there. Okay, anytime we have the lavalier hooked up, like those other cameras, I'm going to hook up the receiver here onto this shoe, and then hook up my person, hook up the subject, give them the lavalier, and they're going to communicate with each other, and that's what we're going to record. Okay, any questions so far? No? Okay. So far, so good. All right. So a little bit about this camera. Where are you used to seeing these things? What do you think?
shoulder.
On your shoulder? Yeah, you can. I mean, it doesn't really have a shoulder mount, but like where have you seen these people use these before? Games? Okay.
I think it do they use those a lot for interviews, or use those?
We actually like to use it. You can use both. We give you guys the option of using both. The JVC, we actually have those more used outside for sports. But I mean, you know, for anything outside, you can have manual functions here in order to adjust to the lighting outside. Okay, so but yeah, for JVC we do a lot of sports with those. Here, this is basically used like, you know, here inside we do a lot of work inside. Interviews, studio work, that's what these are for. This one is actually for, it's actually known as an EFG, or I'm sorry, ENG. That one is actually for, like, if you ever see a news reporter, they're just a one camera guy, one camera person. You know, not very many functions that could hook up to like a multi-view player that can, you know, handle more than one camera. So it's just a one camera job. ENG stands for electronic news gathering. Okay, so a lot of the times if you see a news reporter, they're out gathering their news, they're getting their footage. It's just a one camera kind of job. Okay, so it's pretty basic. You have your basic functions. This is actually a very good, this is actually considered a professional camera. Okay, so between the consumer camera and the professional camera, do y'all see the difference? I mean, obviously with the buttons and how many functions there are, even in the soft menu, okay? We have like our ND filter. If you're ever outside and I tell you, hey, you need to turn on your ND filter, it's too bright, too much light exposure, that's what this is for. You just turn it on until the picture looks appropriate, okay, really good. Until you get a good clear picture. We have our microphone. We have an input 1 and 2. You can adjust the volume. What was input 2? Do you guys remember?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't tell them? Okay.
You said input 1.
Okay, what is input 1?
That's that
Natural sound, yes. So input 2, I'm going to hook up the microphone there, okay? The receiver. Y'all see whenever, see, I don't have one.
There's microphones right there. Other bag.
Other bag?
Yeah.
Well, but none of them have the
The what?
thing to plug in.
Yeah, right there.
No, I wanted to set it all up.
Oh, no, I don't have any shoes on.
Yeah.
those.
Okay, so let's pretend, sorry. Let's pretend we have that hooking up, okay? You're gonna have this cord with the XLR connector. This is your audio cord. You're just gonna plug it into your input 2. Just like that. So that, pretend that will be sitting on top of that, okay? With the little rabbit ears, whatever. But that's where that's gonna hook up. So natural sound is on 1, lavalier mic is on 2, okay? So you can adjust the volumes here, you can see. And we'll all get a chance to kind of look through it and play with them. Okay, so let's say I'm ready to roll. I'm going to put this on the tripod. I'm going to slide it in. And then did you guys hear the click? That's really important to hear because then it locks it, okay? I mean, we don't want to just leave it there where it can slide that far, but if, you know, it'll catch it if emergency. Then we just tighten this little screw, and then that's what makes it stable up here, okay? So what do I do now since it's like dropping on its own? See how if I just leave it alone, it's just kind of falling? What do y'all think? Just screw it in, just tighten it, just like that. See? And if you're not sure, just play around with it. Just say, oh, I wonder what this kind of screws in, and just tighten it and see what it does. Oh, now I can't tilt up or down, okay? So next, we also have one for swiveling to the left or right. You just tighten that. Now nobody can move it, okay? Release it, and we're good to go. This one here, if we wanted to, I can hook up the HDMI cable to that TV, and you can see exactly what I'm seeing on the camera. Okay, so this has a lot more inputs, a lot more capabilities than these would. Okay. I'm going to turn this off. Oh, I did not see that. That just came off.
I'll fix it later.
Okay.
Jack, I'll fix it later.
Okay. Same. Okay, so then I'm going to go over to this one and just kind of talk about what we have. So these are our sliders or gliders, if you will. So what do you guys think? Just by looking at them, what do you think they can do? Yeah, just that it moves your camera from side to side. Oh. So initially, this one doesn't have a motor. So there are some out there that do have motors, and then you basically can, give it that movement from your camera from one side to the next. So if you have like one person doing an interview and you want to give it that kind of effect, that slower look where it just tracks your person but the background is moving, you can do that with these, okay? We have a larger glider, we have a smaller one over there, okay? So you can do many cameras around you if you have, if that's something that you'd want to do. So you just kind of like this. This one's more like a manual. You just do it with your hand. That's it. These are basically used for more for DSLR cameras instead of something like that. Okay. So that one's more considered like a stationary camera that you want as your primary, your camera one. Then you can have two cameras on each side of that person, just kind of giving that effect of like, really slow, giving it a good feel. How about this? Yeah, it's also known as a boom mic. This is a microphone or a shotgun mic. I hooked up to a fishpole rod. Okay, so we have this where we can extend it out and basically hold it in front of somebody. Okay, these are more directional microphones where they cover everything that's in front. Okay, so let's say he's talking. I'm gonna want to keep the microphone somewhere right here. Okay, not in front of the camera where they can see it, but somewhere in that direction. A lot of the times you'll see something like this happening. I mean, when you're speaking, which way, what direction are you going? More out that way. Okay, so it just kind of makes sense to capture the sound from right in front of the person. Okay. What else? Okay, so I'm going to talk about this one next. This one is called the NEX Cam. Let me turn it on real quick. This one is actually a combination between the DSLR camera and that ENG camera, okay, the NX100 camera. Because do you think this one can take photos? Yes, it actually can, because it's a combination, like I said, between the DSLR camera, which that one can take photos, it can take video. Yes, do you have a question?
No.
Oh, you're just stretching your hand. Yeah, so between these two, I mean, this is a very great quality lens itself, great camera. It can perform many different functions that you have, like I said, between the two mixed into one. Okay, so if you want that cinematic look, this is called the Cin camera, also cinematic camera, which has an interchangeable lens. So if you guys were ever interested in changing the look, I can show you here in a minute. You just take that out, replace it. What does it look like? You think a regular camera lens can fit on this? Yes. They're interchangeable with each other. As long as it has an E-mount, it's known as an E-mount. That's this part right here. So if you notice that you want to use that lens off of that camera, you can if you'd like. Okay, so there's just a lot of neat features, a lot of neat functions that this one can do, and a lot of our students, they have the option of using all of these cameras. So you can use your ENG, you can use, you know, like I said, the NX100 camera, you can use the Cin camera. Oh. Okay. Are there any questions yet so far? No? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go over a little bit. This has the same functions too here. If you'll see for our input 1 and input 2 for audio levels, we have room here that we're going to put in our SD cards. What is the SD card for? Do you know? Do you know or do you remember? Yeah, it's just storing your footage. So when we go out on a shoot, we're going to send you out. You grab your footage, you're going to put it into our computers. Okay, you're going to make a folder, and I'll show you all how to do that on Premiere. Let's see. Talking about that. How much do you guys think this would cost? Just guessing.
2,000?
This one? Okay, 2,000. Anybody else?
3,000,
4,000? Okay. This one, I've actually priced it out at about a good 3,000. Yeah. So, and it was on sale. I mean, this one is being discontinued, like I said, and it's actually, they're coming up with the FS5 right here. So this next one right here with the windsock on it. So they're upgrading it from this to that. Okay. So this one is Mr. Rush's personal computer, or computer.
No,
His
it's
personally.
It's not my personal.
Is it? It's not.
It belongs to the district, but we use it for all high-end productions, you know, because we do more than just teach. So it's only
Okay.
used right now by me and the advanced students.
Okay.
But
I've
we're
only
fixing
seen you
to
with
move
it.
into the flow with the rest of the cameras, because we're getting a brand new one at that version with the newer systems and stuff, and this one can be used by y'all too. Here in about a month when the new one gets in.
Yeah. Okay. So
But you can touch it today.
you're giving him permission?
Maybe.
One time. So yeah, I mean, you obviously you have your rings here. You can take it off of automatic functions here. So instead of the camera doing all the thinking for you, you can actually play with it yourself, okay? And sometimes you will get a sharper image than the actual camera will pick up on. A lot of the times, you know, we'll deal with light colors. The light itself that are being reflected here, I mean, they give off a temperature, which, you know, we'll go into more detail later about it. But they give off kind of a different color. So if I kind of turn on my camera and it gives me a yellowish tint to it, it's because of the light temperatures that are being reflected off of the light bulb. Okay, so there's a way that we white balance it and we will fix the color. And if for any reason we forget to do that, we can do it in editing, okay, or in post. Let's see. Do you guys know what this is?
That's not like
Wait, what?
pop filter?
A what?
It's a pop filter?
A filter?
Some sort of filter?
Kind of, yeah.
Doesn't it stop like, I've seen some of those on like other mics you can have towards here and it makes it where you can't hear like they're breathing.
Yes, it's also known as a windsock, or if you look at the label on the packaging, it's called a dead cat, for obvious reason too. It looks like a dead cat, but yeah, it's really soft. You can touch it too whenever we get a chance to. But initially, that's just, you know, to stop the sound of wind, you know, just being too distracting from the actual voice that you're wanting to pick up on. Okay. Let's see. I didn't talk about the DSLRs themselves. So, okay, we're also going to have a project here pretty soon that we have with these cameras. So I'm going to break you guys into groups and you're going to create a short film using these cameras. Okay. Now, are we doing still photography? No, this is not a photography class. So we're using, or we're working with motion picture. Okay. What's the difference between still photography and motion? Hmm? Yeah, pictures and videos. I mean, one moves and the others don't, right? Pictures are obviously just a still photograph. We're not dealing with that. We're doing motion pictures. So what you're going to do, let me see if I can take this off. You're going to be dealing with this button more. Okay? Let me get closer. But y'all see this button here on the handle? So your little red button, that's your record button. Okay. Here, if I turn it on, I can just take a picture. Okay. It'll just give me that option. Movie button. See, you can still do both, which is just exactly like what our Cine camera does. I mean, you have that option, but we're not, you know, we're not doing photography. We're doing motion picture. Okay. Let's see. Oh gosh. I'm running out of things to say, Mr. Rush.
I never run out of things to say.
I know you don't.
What do you need me to do?
Okay, so I've talked about, all right, so let's see, just based off of this one, our little A7, how much do you think this one would be costing? A few hundred? 500? Okay, those are good guesses. What would you say? It was about a good...
Oh, I know exactly how much
Yeah,
it
you know
costs.
the exact numbers. He's the one that's ordered all of this equipment for us. So what is the exact price?
Exact price of that particular camera is $1,100 with lens.
With the stock lens, right?
Do I? Oh.
With the stock lens.
With the stock lens, yes. Not the best lens in the world, but it works. So,
Now, how about like our A7 IIIs? Are
I'm
those?
about to pull out an A7 III right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? For your entertainment purpose, let's give a round of applause for the A7 III. All right, this particular body for the camera runs right about $1,800. Now you may wonder why, because if you look at it, let me see just the A7. If you were to look at these two cameras side by side, do you see a lot of difference?
No, sir.
Looks pretty much the same, doesn't it? One's a little thicker than the other, so on. But the main difference is, with these two, is this one has limited capabilities for capturing video. Still great as a still photography camera, but it's limited. This one has greater capabilities, and the cool thing about these cameras is they work in different frame modes, whereas this one doesn't. Do y'all know what a frame mode is? Okay, let me give you a little history lesson in television. Back when television started, back in the original first television image was sent out like in the 1900s, early 1900s, about 1910, 1920. But then the first true broadcast signal for television didn't happen until after World War II, okay? Are y'all familiar with World War II? Okay, so you know what's that time frame? 1940s. So it was the late 1940s, and then of course television came into its own during the 1950s and really took off during the 1960s. Sad part about that is I was alive during a lot of that time. So I don't know if it's sad. I guess that's good because it's better than not being alive, right? Okay, that was a dad joke. I thought I saw someone at the door. Okay, so, but the thing is this, for every single time, all right, when you're watching TV, even your videos on your phone, okay? You got movement, don't you? Okay. Does any of these cameras here truly capture movement? Who wants to guess?
Yeah.
I have a no. I have a yes.
Most of them, like some.
Some. I have a lot of non-committals here. There is no wrong answer, trust me. Well, there really is a wrong answer. The truth of the matter is, film, video, all of that creates motion, all these cameras are doing when it's capturing that, even your cell phone that you have when you record video, it is really taking a picture at anywhere, depending upon the frame rate setting that you set it for how many pictures during a second. The standard, which is the industry standard industry for the United States, is 30 frames per second. So what it is, that camera takes pretty much just takes a still picture every 30th of a second. Boom, 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 boom. And then all that is interlaced together to create motion, okay? So in other words, as I'm walking, it's going picture, 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 just like that. Capturing my movement, okay? That's what it's doing. That's how that works. We work in what's known as frames. In fact, we're gonna do a lot of talking about frames because that's our system to make things happen, okay? So, now the cool thing about DSLRs and the cinematographic style cameras is that because they're so flexible and professional in their concept, not to say these guys are not a professional camera. They are. Did you talk about the lens factor of this?
I didn't.
Okay. But the key here is, the main difference is these cameras are good cameras. Good running gun cameras. You grab, you go, you shoot, you come back. You can tell the camera to do all the thinking for you. You can tell the camera that you want to control all aspects of it, either way. Door, please. Might as well just leave it loose because all the sophomores are coming back. So, but the main difference is, look at the lenses on these cameras. Look at the lens on this camera. Let me have the 5 real quick. Just take it off the tripod. Look at the lens on the FS5, okay? What's the main thing you notice about these lenses, like this, like that, compared to these lenses?
They're bigger.
Well, they are somewhat bigger. They're not not necessarily. That lens is actually bigger than that lens. Do you want to know what the main difference is? All right. I'm gonna show you. I can take this lens and take it off and replace it with this lens, which is, see, so it's actually smaller now, isn't it? Because it's a different type of lens. I cannot grab this camera and disconnect the lenses. They are permanently fixed. They are always going to be on this camera. I can't do anything with lenses. I cannot change lenses, can't do anything with it. But with this camera, I can literally, as long as I'll grab the 3. As long as I have the right mount for the right camera, which that's the mount. See the mounts? Okay. Here's the mount connector on the camera. On Sony's, we use what's known as E or F mounts. So that means any Sony lens could go pretty much on any Sony camera. This lens that I took off of the bigger camera will actually fit on that camera, and I can use it. So I have a wide variety of styles of lenses I can use on any given Sony camera, provided it's interchangeable lenses. If it's a fixed lens like this one, I can't. But these I can, all right? So that's the main difference, is they give us the expandability to use whatever lens we desire to work with. Like, just a few, before all the teachers came back from summer, I work different hours than a teacher because I run the TV station. I went around shooting beauty shots of all the schools and stuff like that. When I did that, with this camera, I used this lens. Looks kind of stupid with this lens on, doesn't it? Lens, okay? But this is what's known as a prime lens. And what that means is I've only got so much of but whatever the lens sees is what I've got. I can't change. I can't go in tighter with the lens. I can't do anything. But what I see is what I got with this lens. This particular lens is what, and we'll go real deep into lenses here in a few weeks as you begin to develop your skills. This lens is what's known as a 16 millimeter lens. That means it can see 16 millimeters worth of view. The lower the number of millimeters, the more view you have. The higher amount of millimeters is the less area you're covering. Okay? This also has a fisheye lens on it. Y'all want to see what it looks like? Okay. I'm game.
Well,
if you're game.
I'll take attendance while you're hooking that
Okay.
up.
So what we'll do is I'll turn on this TV and I'll show you. I'll show you how some of these lenses look so that you get a feel.
Do we have a Lauren? Lauren? Okay. Harmony? Oh, no, she's not here. Louis? Louis? Okay. Devin? Devin.
How do you spell it?
Daven? How do I say it?
David?
Daven. Okay, sorry. Francesca? Francesca Landon? Okay, am I saying it right? Okay. Don't be so quiet, you guys. You're going to have to get my attention. Joshua Marquez. Okay.
All right.
Caden? Nathan Morales? No, Nathan. Okay. Oh, okay. Christopher Parrish? Grayson? Oh, you got Grayson's here. He was here. You're here.
You're right there. We can't get rid of them that easy.
Kristen? Or Christian?
Right here.
Is it Christian? Okay. Manuel? Okay. Darian? Am I saying it right? Okay. All right. Kalani?
Here.
Am I saying it right? Okay. Sapa, how do you say your name? How? Tauma. Okay. Connor?
Here.
Jarrell? Am I saying it right? Okay. Blaze?
Here.
Okay. Oh. Am I missing anybody? What's your name? Well, that's interesting. What's your last name?
I used to be in your fourth period.
Okay, Zane. Yes, I just skipped over you. Sorry about
You
that.
did period.
Yes.
Yeah, that's, yeah, okay. That's right, that's right. See, we're still learning, so we
Yeah.
recognized your face, so we didn't question you.
Yeah, I remember seeing you.
Yeah.
So, okay, you're good. So we're good.
Okay, so this is what a prime 16mm lens looks like. Now, the advantage of this is, first of all, because it's fish-eyed, see the curvature within the shot? Of course, the curvature becomes real noticeable. Sorry, you're closest. When I come up and get right on a person's face. Now do you see the curvature? Now, see, it adds that really sweet look of really doing well on the face with the focus, and then all the softness of everything behind it. So it's a beautiful little lens. So let me ask you this question. How much do you think just that lens costs? Guess?
700, more than that?
You're close. That's an $850 lens. And it's only good for one thing. To do the fish-eyed, really wide looks, okay? Let's say that I'm going to go cover football. I want to be at one end zone and still get good shots at the other end zone. Then I'm going to switch the type of lens I use. I'm going to power down real quick so I don't interfere with the internal electronics. And I'm going to switch to this lens. This is what's known as a 70mm lens, so it's still not like this, to a 400mm. So it goes from here to here. This allows me to shoot down the field and still, from one end zone to another end zone, and still get a very tight shot. All right, so here, this is as wide as it zoomed, or this is the widest angle as I can get with that lens, okay? With the other one, I had almost the entire class right here, right? But that's as wide as I can get. But look what happens when I go to my 400mm setting, okay? Okay? I can get in really tight. Now, I did sports, I told y'all that, right? I did sports production, ESPN, Fox Sports, did a lot for Tech TV and stuff. So I covered a lot of NCAA games and stuff. When I worked at the Tech games, they always put me on top of the roof at the south end zone. That's the one with the double T. Y'all seen the double T scoreboard? Well, if you ever looked over there and saw a speck of a person behind a camera, that was me. In fact, I'd showing Miss Smith, someone had taken a picture of Jones Stadium right after all the last renovations. And it showed these guys on top of that south end zone roof, and I go, that's me.
It was like the whole wall. There's like a
And she
mural.
go, that's me. And she
Yeah.
goes, really? She walked up and goes, that is you. So that was me. But I had a lens very similar to this. My job on that camera was essentially to follow plays tied up as they ran and to get close up of the quarterback coming down the field towards my camera, okay? That was my job. I was on the south end zone, the quarterback, in fact, I got great shots of Mahomes then too. I could get a close-up of the quarterback as he comes up behind the center, getting ready to execute the play, tight shot on his face. Even all the way across the field. The lens was a lot bigger than this one, not much deeper, but a lot larger because it was a true television lens. In fact, the lens was this long and about that big. Yeah, it's big. And I could get that with that shot. These are what these types of lenses are made for, to really get out. If you're a wilderness photographer or a videographer, you use this lens to get close-ups shots of the animals that you want to get without scaring them off, okay? That's what these lenses are good for. Now, each lens is going to give you a different thing. Most lenses are like this one. They're known as variable, since they can go through different ramifications of the millimeter settings. But they are really fun to play with and really fun to experiment with. And part of what you're in this class for is to experiment with this stuff and have fun with it and learn how to do these different things. Because who knows, you might be inspired that this might be your career. Because I know when I went to college, I played football in high school. I got a scholarship with, back then it was just West Texas University Buffaloes. Now it's West Texas A&M Aggies, I believe. But I went to West Texas State for a little bit, played football, and I didn't like playing football, collegiate football, so I went to a different school. And I discovered television, because I was doing radio then, even though I was playing football and stuff, but I was doing radio, and I discovered television, and I fell in love with television, with what it can do. And they had a small program like this in my high school. Of course, everything was in black and white then. Yes, that's how old I am. And where I kind of got the taste of it, that's the reason I went into radio. But then once I got into a real television setting, never looked back. It's been the passion of my life next to my wife and kids. So, but this stuff is fascinating and fun to play with. And it's just a matter of touching it, experimenting with it. We're going to challenge you with some really cool projects that you get to do. I mean, we have, I think I told you all last time, we have students out there right now, or I have former students that are out there doing great stuff, working for great companies. And it's because they went through something like this and they found their love. And this is what they wanted to do. Some of them went to college, some of them didn't. Some of them went straight into the field. And I know a young man that graduated, I think I told you 2 years ago, he's got a job now as a creative content manager for a web company. And he's making almost what I'm making. I'm like, that's not fair. That's not fair, you know. But the opportunities are there. So, what else do you want me to talk about?
I don't know what else we could talk about.
Ask
Should we
some
just?
questions.
Well, I already asked. Do y'all have questions?
There's no way. You don't have questions.
So
Sure.
how many frames per second is that one?
All right, all right, now the frames per second is determined by the camera, right? Okay. This particular camera, this one and the A7 III, this guy right here, have what's known as extremely flexible frame rates. Since we know that standard television is how many frames per second? 30, okay? So it's 30 frames per second. But now, you know, frame rate on film is different. Did you know that?
No,
No?
I probably
You did at one time. What do you think of frame rate for a film is? Do you think it's higher or lower than 30 frames per second?
lower.
All right, if you think lower, raise your hand. You are so non-committal, y'all. Don't be afraid. There are no wrong answers. Yes, there are. Or you think it's higher than 30 frames per second? Who thinks it is? It's lower.
Yes.
Frame rate on film is actually 24 frames per second. And here's the reason why. I want you to stop for a second. Sorry, my throat's dry. It's not the COVID. I have that old man cough. I can't help it. Someday you'll be elderly too, so hush. Think about CNN, Fox, let's don't get into debate which one we watch. CNN or Fox Sports or any of the news stations here in town. You watch stories on them, right? Okay, when you think about the imagery that video is, and then you think about the movies you love, okay? If I put them side by side here, here, or even if I got the exact same, exact same image shot with a standard video camera and a Cine style camera like this one, you think there's a big difference between the two images?
I don't, the movie one probably looks a lot, like a little better.
Okay, it's not necessarily that it looks better, it looks different.
It's because of the lighting.
Well, not even the lighting plays a role in that. What happens is when you have your frame rate at 30 frames per second, it actually works pretty much like our eyes work. If you look around the room, look at the people around you. All right? When you look at a person, they kind of look, you're seeing what's there. I'll go through lighting soon because when you actually look at a person, you're really not looking at them. I'll tell you that later. I know this is going to blow your mind. I mean, you're just going to be going, I can't believe you just told me that. You'll never see the world the same way again. But when I look at them, I see them like they really are. Okay? If they're sweaty on their forehead, I see the reflection of the light from the sweat, whatever. Okay? But with once I change this camera or this style of camera to 24 frame rate, it actually, I have that on auto, so let me turn that off. Do I have that on auto? I do. So I can control, see? So I can adjust how the background feels around you. I can adjust how the imagery looks, and the frame rate actually gives a softer feel. Okay? It causes colors within the image to pop. It causes all these different things because of the frame rate. On the video camera, it looks flatter. It looks flatter. Everything looks glossier, like what you see through your eyes. This becomes surrealistic in a way. This is why film is artistic and video is more true to life. That's why if you shoot a movie, you use a film camera at 24 frames per second. If you're shooting reality TV, you're using a video camera at 30 frames per second because you want the real feel. In other words, and that's part of the reason news does what they do. Because film takes that almost surrealistic look. They don't shoot anything in film. Because it makes it not real. Because we as viewers, we as people who are the consumers of this stuff, we know that film is not real. It's usually entertainment, it's theatrical, it's all that. But video, news, wants us to know this is real. This is you're seeing it just like you would if you were there. And that's part of the reason it's done that way, is to create that. So frame rates play a whole bunch of aspects. And we're going to talk about frame rates, the advantage to this, disadvantage to this, frame sizes from standard def to high def to 4K to 6K to 8K, all the advantages that you have with each one of those formats, and talk about this. Now right now this is the only 4K camera we have. My plan is to get us one more of these, and then we're going to also get the new big boy, big brother of this camera, which is the 6K camera, and then these 4Ks will be used for y'all, and then we'll start using the 6K as the higher end production for the school district. But this is what that camera does. It helps create that. Which do you think I have more control over the camera on? That one or this one? This one. Why is a professional videographer, producer, whatever you want to call me, why do I want more control of my camera?
So you get the way you want it to look, because the camera, the one that you don't have control as much, what kind of thinks for itself, so it'll make it look what it thinks the best is. But if you're going for something different, you want to be able to.
It's absolutely true. I want control of what that looks like. Yes, sir. Yes. I want control of the final look. If I want to create this room and create an imagery of dark depressiveness, I can do that with this camera. No matter what the lighting is, I can do that because it gives me that creative flexibility. This camera, all I do is make it look dark. So I'm not able to push certain levels to keep clear images, right? I could zoom into someone's face, set it up where their face is it looks like it's lit well, but everything behind it is dark, without doing anything else to the lighting around here. Okay, this camera allows me this. Reason professionals want control is because we are actually smarter than the camera. Some of us, not all of us, okay? But that's what we're after. We're after that control, that beautiful feel, that everything. So and then these cameras, see, I got totally sidetracked there. These cameras allow you to go through multiple frame rates. These guys, these two here, will shoot anything from 3 frames a second to 240 frames a second. What happens when I do a 3 frame per second?
You're like slowly like.
It's a time lapse.
Yeah.
It's a time lapse. If I want to get like in the hallway and condense the transfer of kids during that 6-minute time and show the entire passing period, I can do that in 15 seconds, maybe even 10. That whole 6 minutes. And when I put that clip in for my project, it just starts empty. 8 seconds later, the hallway is empty again. Okay? But I can also shoot up to 240 frames per second. Why would I want to shoot that many frames per second? For slow-mo. It captures that great movement. This is great when you're like capturing a baseball coming into a glove. When you're capturing that center as he brings back the football to the quarterback. If say I'm doing a piece about a defensive lineman, I catch that exact moment when he wraps around that quarterback and takes him down in a slow-mo field. That it's beautiful. It really is when you're telling stories with slow-mo. Slow-mo is a beautiful way to go. Time-lapse is great if you want to condense time, but slow-mo really helps tell a story. You know, there are cameras that will shoot up to 4,000 frames per second. Did you know that? They're called high-speed cameras. And what they do is when they capture slow-mo looks to judge things that are happening. You've seen this before. You've probably seen videos where they show the damage that a bullet does to a body. They'll get a gel body and shoot the body and they show the damage. Well, they use high-speed cameras just for you to see that bullet slowly enter and do the damage it does and come out. They do that with archery stuff too, when they want to see the correct motion of an arrow path. It's stuff like that. So that's what those are for. Those are great if what you're capturing is happening so fast that you can't do it with a normal slow-mo camera. Explosions, high-speed cameras. They do that in high-speed cameras to show the actual effect, chemical response that's happening during that explosion. So why is everything high-speed destructive? Okay, never mind. So, but that's part of it, and the frame rate helps determine that. Problem with those high-speed cameras is you're not talking thousands of dollars, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars for those things. So there are not that many out there. And those that are very, very expensive. All right, time-wise, okay.
Enough time
It's
to
time,
touch.
time to start touching things.
Yeah.
Shut up, Ray. Okay. Oh, stop it.
Okay, so I've got the A7 III here. Y'all just pass it around and turn it on.
Everything has batteries in it. Come get a camera, come on.
Yeah, you guys get up.
We'll take them off tripods for you. We'll let you play with them. You get to touch. Come on. Don't be bashful.
I don't know how to take
Here,
them
we'll
off.
leave this one on
We're
the
gonna leave them on
tripod,
here?
just because it's so expensive. It's not that I don't trust you, okay?
Do you want them to take it off of the sliders?
Sure. You take off sliders. Takers.
You can, like this
This
one, you
is
can
a-
try practicing like
Video
taking off
so
the
we're talking
lens, so you,
these
there's like a button there,
DSLR lens.
and you just twist it.
And then you get your next lens, like this. Hang on, you should actually turn it off before you take the lens off.
Oh.
That's okay. Then you get your next lens, and see how there's a white dot on the lens. See how there's a white dot on the mount. You match the two, not until it locks. And then power's right there. So play with them. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, you want to take one of those?
Yeah, here. Here you go, let me help you. Oh, yeah, this is right there. There you go. Well, actually, you actually have a monitor right there that you can see. I mean,
you
if you
want a
want to
DSLR?
put your- Are they all on the monitor?
Hmm?
Or put your eye to
No,
it?
those are
You'll see
pretty
it.
light. The DSLR is a little bit
I
heavier,
can't
though
see
you'll
there
feel it.
because I wear glasses.
And then you can even like
So I have to use-
practice like taking the lens off, and you can put that one on. Just
Oh, yeah.
there's a button on the side. You see it? That's a like a little mark
You probably stop
right
the
here,
recording.
right there. Oh yeah. So just press it and then
I'll stop
unscrew it.
Here, on that camera, on the handle on the other side and the back, is a button.
Just push the button down, and then you just twist the lens
You
off.
see it on the back of the handle, not the tripod handle, but the handle on the camera
Got
where you
it?
put your hand in. No. Down below, see the little wrap? Okay. It's okay. No, don't stop.
That's focused.
This guy right here.